Hey everyone, it's Aiden. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got 3 wild Am I the A-hole stories straight from Reddit, all about boundaries, burnout, and learning when to say no. We're going to hear each person's story, check out what Reddit's top comments had to say, and at the end, I want to hear your verdicts on all 3. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. First up, we have a classic family drama. A new mom writes, "After I had my daughter, my mom offered to babysit whenever I needed a break. At first, it was amazing. I could finally catch my breath, run errands, or just have a moment to myself. It felt like a lifesaver. But then, the issues started. She began ignoring my parenting rules one by one. The big ones were no sugar, no co-sleeping, and absolutely no TV during meals. These weren't just random preferences. They were things my pediatrician and I had discussed for my daughter's health and development. I tried to be gentle at first. I reminded her 3 different times, but she just laughed it off and said things like, "Oh, relax. I raised you just fine, didn't I?" She treated my rules like they were silly suggestions, not actual boundaries for her grandchild's care. The final straw came last week. I came home to find my 2-year-old bouncing off the walls, completely wired. It turns out my mom had given her soda. My daughter was up all night and it was a complete nightmare. That was it for me. I told my mom I appreciated her offer, but from now on, I'd be using a professional vetted babysitter. Now my mom is absolutely furious. She's telling everyone in the family that I've cut her out of her granddaughter's life and that I don't trust her. She says I'm robbing her of her right to be a grandmother. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for hiring a professional sitter instead of letting my mom babysit? The Reddit comments were overwhelmingly on the mom's side. The top comment said, "Not the a-hole. This isn't about you trying to control your mom. It's about her respecting your rules as the parent. Her job is to support you, not to undermine you." Another user put it perfectly. "Grandparents are support, not supervisors. She had her turn to raise a child her way. Now it's your turn." And my personal favorite comment was, "You didn't ban her from being a grandmother. You just banned her bad habits from your house." The final verdict from the community was a clear, not the a-hole. When it comes to raising kids, Reddit says consistency matters way more than a grandparent's nostalgia. Alright, moving on to story number 2. This one takes us to the workplace. The original poster writes, "My coworker, let's call her Jane, texted me at 6 in the morning, begging me to cover her 9 a.m. shift. She said she was incredibly sick and couldn't possibly make it in. I was half asleep, but I felt bad for her and was about to say yes. But then, something made me hesitate. I had a weird feeling, so before I replied, I did a quick scroll through Instagram. And what did I find? Stories from Jane's account, time-stamped at 3 in the morning, showing her out partying with friends. She wasn't sick with the flu. She was sick with a hangover. So I texted her back and simply said, "Sorry, I can't." I didn't give a reason. I just said no. Well, Jane ended up dragging herself into work, several hours late and looking absolutely miserable. Instead of being grateful that someone was covering the shift, she started telling our other coworkers that I lacked empathy and was a bad team player for not helping her out in her time of need. The drama didn't stop there. Our manager pulled us both aside later and said we needed to work on our communication and be more supportive of each other. I was just stunned. Am I the a-hole for saying no after I saw she was out partying? Reddit was not having any of Jane's excuses. The top comment was blunt. NTA. She didn't have a virus. She had a vodka hangover. Her poor planning is not your emergency. Another great comment pointed out, "Setting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's protection from manipulation. She tried to guilt you into fixing a problem she created." And a third user summed it up. "The only communication that was needed here is, no means no. You don't owe her an explanation." So, the mini verdict from Reddit is a solid NTA. Showing up for your responsibilities isn't rude. It's just called being a professional. Okay, let's get into our third and final story, which is all about money and relationships. The OP writes, "My boyfriend and I planned a big beach trip together. We were so excited. We booked the flights, found a great hotel right by the water, and agreed to split everything 50-50, right down the middle. It was a serious vacation, and the total for each of us came out to about $1,200. We'd been saving and planning for months. Then, about a week before we were supposed to leave, he drops a bombshell. He sat me down and said he was a little tight on cash this month and asked if I could just cover his half of the trip. He said he'd pay me back eventually. And then he added, "Besides, I always pay for our dinners, so it kind of evens out, right?" I was shocked. I told him, "Our weekly dinners don't add up to $1,200. He got defensive immediately and accused me of putting money above our relationship and not being willing to help him out. He said if I really loved him, the money wouldn't be an issue. I was so upset by his attitude and the way he tried to guilt me. So, I canceled my ticket, got my refund, and told him to take his wallet on vacation by himself. Now he's calling me selfish and saying I ruined our trip over money. Am I the a-hole?" Reddit came in hot with Juchi for the original poster. The top-rated comment read, "NTA, a vacation is not a dinner date. It's a major financial commitment. He committed and then he bailed." Another user made a powerful point. If he can't pay, he can't go. That isn't a punishment. That's just reality. You're not his bank. And a third comment that really resonated was, "Relationships aren't charities. He didn't ask for help, he demanded it, and then tried to emotionally manipulate you when you said no." The mini verdict from Reddit? Absolutely not the a-hole. They called this a classic case of financial self-respect, not selfishness. And that's all three for today. We had family rules versus grandma's nostalgia, workplace responsibility versus hangover excuses, and love versus money expectations. Now, I want to know what you think. Who was right and who was wrong? Drop your verdicts below for OP1, OP2, and OP3. Tell me, was their response petty or was it perfectly fair? If you enjoyed these stories, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow for more viral "Am I the a-hole" moments every single day. This is Aiden, signing off. I'll see you in the next one.